Okay, I believe we're live on YouTube. I got to get my equipment set up more so when I'm on YouTube, they can hear the full spectrum of sound as the people in on Facebook. I haven't got to that level of sophistication yet. It just requires me to download another app and to do something. And I just really haven't had to, no, I haven't taken the time to do it. Okay, all right. Of course, when we hear the beat, we know we live.
Yeah, I'm looking for your page.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting ready to. Let's not use that one. Let's use this one right here. How about we use my song? That was a Johnny Lawrence advertisement. Yeah, okay.
I just heard your name.
Yeah, yo, you all this time you just now hear it. Look, I let it roll to with B baby. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, let me see. Yeah. I'm gonna change it. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna see if I can. What I put in. Show is where I did it. YouTube. I mean not YouTube, but spell check must have did that for me. See if I can switch this up. Let me see if I can edit this. Probably won't let me do it. Okay, I edited it. Yep. See, I'm trying not to laugh. We got folks out there already, so I'll be on my best behavior. Okay. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cousin B, Bryan, right?
Okay.
We was having a small conversation.
Okay.
Yesterday about his dad.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Ear to the Ground 197. I'm your host. My name is Bryan Foley. And before we get started, I'd like for everybody to like, share, and then comment. And you know why we ask everybody to comment with that why one, bro, Griff. Tell them why.
Ipsy first, baby.
Ipsy first, yeah. So like I said, we on this early Sunday edition. I know some folks getting ready for the football game. Some folks getting ready. Some folks still at church. But you know what, Griff? I'm gonna spread this out just a little bit. I'm playing with the camera. Griff had me laughing over here and stuff like that. So I'm already discombobulated. You know what, Griff? On Sunday morning, you ever notice that the news programs, Face the Nation, and all of them political, national. Hey, what's going on, Sister Vita? Good to see you early this morning. Face the Nation and all those roundtable discussions, you ever notice what time they're here?
I used to watch them, but I stopped.
You're supposed to be at church at that time.
Yeah.
But ain't it funny, man, how if you want to know what's going on with the nation on both sides on of the aisle, that those programs are during the hours of church.
Very little is done not strategically. You know
You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, you
So,
know how quote Brother Malcolm X time. We got to respond scientifically. We got to start responding emotionally.
Exactly. So it says that the 11 o'clock hour is the most segregated hour in America.
Yes, sir.
So when our folks is out praising the Lord, worshiping, these folks at the same time is strategizing on the country. Yeah. I ain't no plan. They've been doing it for years. But anyway, how you doing this morning, good brother?
Good, man. Busy, busy. But you
Okay.
know, it's I'd rather be busy. You know what I'm saying? So no, everything's good, man. School, kids, work, trying to handle business. Everything's good, man. Like no complaints, bro.
Yeah. So we like for you to like, share, and then type Y1 into the comment boxes. As Brother Griff said, we believe in Ypsilanti first. I believe in Ypsilanti first. South side of Ypsilanti first. That's the center of my known universe. Everything emanates, arose, and surrounds the city of Ypsilanti from the south side of Ypsilanti. So I believe that if we help to get my community together better first, then the rest of the community will get better first. That's my own personal philosophy. What's going on, Miss Peggy? Thank you for hitting that Y1 here. Let's do this, man, and get this out of the way, okay? I didn't bring this out here, but let me do this anyway, okay? You know, it's political season is about us, and we can't ignore politics because, you know, they affect every area of our life. You get what I'm saying? But what I got here, good brother, I got this Ipsy Can I Share. You're already familiar with it, you know what I mean? And this Ipsy Can I Share, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, right? This is empowerment cards. This was created by Gail Somerville. I was on the phone with Gail this morning. Hey, Sister Michelle, what's going on? You up early out there this morning in Los Angeles anyway. But well, we got these empowerment cards, and what it consists of our 4 communities within City of Ypsilanti, or our 4 municipalities. Let me slow down a little bit this morning. City of Ypsilanti, Superior Township, Ypsilanti Township, and Pittsfield Township. And what we found is the reason why we created this is because a lot of people do not know the municipality that they live in. We find people going to vote for the mayor in Ypsilanti Township, voting for the township trustee in the city of Ypsilanti, looking for trash services for the city of Ypsilanti when they live in Superior Township, and then when they have issues in Pittsfield Township with the police, they come to the city of Ypsilanti or Ypsilanti Township. So what Ipsy Can I Share, when collaboration of League of Women Voters, who put this on here, they created this empowerment cards that shows who are your elected officials and where you can go and get services in your said community based upon your thing. So we just doing our part with these voter empowerment cards, and we can get help with DHS, HHS, crime, violence, healthcare, utilities, and affordable housing. So if y'all want one of these empowerment cards, I think I got some over here somewhere, but they're on here anyway. But anyway, we're on this Sunday morning, brother, and we're here to talk about a subject, man. I don't want to say if it's near and dear, but maybe it's near to our heart. Okay, sure. I'm gonna pop this off right quick, right? So a couple weeks ago, man, you know, I logged on to Facebook, man. And what it said was various posts. Pray for, thank you, Peggy. Pray for Brother Imani Bates. Hope he get out of this. We knew this was going to happen. A whole bunch of negative as well as supportive posts on Imani Bates. And so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about a local basketball superstar who, according to the media reports, was pulled over for running a stop sign and having an unregistered handgun in his vehicle that he says wasn't his, according to the news reports, and with the serial number filed down, and he was arrested for that. And what got me really involved and pissed off about the situation was the responses from the people from our community. First of all, not knowing the entire situation, number one, seeing something that was on channel 247 or in the news, not knowing the brother on a personal level, only seeing him at the basketball games. But really tore me up, man, and pissed me off are the responses from the people in our community, in particular, the brothers who are supposed to be in the role of eldership, tearing that brother down. And what I said is that we as the elders, you included, what we need to do is to form a hedge of protection, encircle this young man and protect him from the harm and from the embarrassment and the shame of not just the news media, but from his own people. What I can share with you is this right here. The national networks, CNN, Sports Illustrated, CNN, and what's the other national, ESPN. They all contacted and they flew in like vultures to pick this brother's bones. Let me back up this young brother, this boy. I'm gonna call it for what it is, 18 years old, this boy. And they all flew in to pick his bones. What I can tell you is this right here. The county administrative level and the sheriff department formed a circle around this boy and would not give them any statements. They protected this young man from the media because all of them came to write a negative story on him. They being responsible says, we're not going to let you get him. But the local brothers, I'm talking about local brothers, were the most caustic, the most acidic, that was just shooting this boy down, man. It pissed me off, man. And I heard some real stuff, but everybody seems to forget, number one, that Imani Bates is a boy. So why you and I talked about how we were going to handle this. We're not necessarily focusing on Imani Bates per se, but those young men who find themselves in those same situations, and how as we as the elder community can best prevent in the future situations like this, where young men get caught up who are in spotlights in situations. And when they do get caught up, how can we help them? Just setting the table a little bit, me and brother Griff, as you know, he's not a stranger to our show. And he and I, we just flow on it. Y'all just happen to be listening to two brothers talk. You get what I mean? Sorry that my show don't be all polished like the mother folks do, but this is my shit and I do it how I want to do it. Anyway, brother, give me your 4-5 cents on that topic, and maybe Imani Bates as a whole, because I know you're a little bit more closer than some of us to the situation, you know.
Well, let me say this first.
Okay.
Let me say this first.
All right.
Today's show is about our responsibility in the community to the young people, men, athletes, whatever, that we feel as if we should have a responsibility toward. So I'm going to ask this first. Freedom of speech, but please refrain from any personal attacks, any personal statements against this young man or any other youth we're talking about. Now, I've been on the show several times. When it comes to grown folks, politicians, police officers, we do what we do. Let them have it. But if we talk about our babies, please, no matter how you feel, refrain from personal attacks, especially if it's not a situation to where any young man that we may mention, you know him personally. If you don't know these people personally, please refrain from the personal attacks. Anything that has been put out in the media, no problem with talking about it because it's out there. You know what I'm saying? Public knowledge. But in terms of personal attacks, demeaning children, trying to make children feel small, that's not what we're going to do. So most of the people out here that's watching, y'all got either me or B's phone number. You know what I'm saying?
So, matter of fact, all y'all do.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We can have conversations when the camera go off with other things. But in terms of the integrity of us being who we're supposed to be, it's not my show.
Right.
It's Bryan Foley's show. But on Bryan Foley's show, we are not going to belittle any children on this show. The integrity is going to stay up there. So that's what I asked first.
Right, exactly.
That's what I asked first. In terms of the Imani Bates situation, and as I talked to you before, Imani Bates is the elephant in the room. This is not a show about Imani, but it's a show about Imani. And it's a show about others as well. But it's the elephant in the room. Let's not act like it's not there. I've had conversations with you,
right,
and where we had a small difference of opinion in terms of level of responsibility. I personally know his father.
Right.
Do we talk on the phone? Do we hang out? No. When we see each other, is it love? Absolutely. We dap each other up because his father and I share an experience of making our young athletes above and beyond.
Right.
So I know the grind. I know what he's gone through.
And that's because you have a son that's playing in Division I football.
He plays in Louisville.
Okay, all right.
Plays football.
Okay.
So in terms of that, that's why I know the family. That's why I know the family. And one thing I was talking to you about is our responsibility with these kids. And you just said you're an elder. I'm an elder. Some of the guys from Washington County that protect him were elders. But one thing I asked you, I think I asked you, maybe somebody else, is do we even have the capability sometimes to be an elder to some of the kids that we would like to, because the child has to be receptive of the information. Let me explain to you what I mean by that.
Okay, all right, go ahead, break that down.
I have kids that I have trained, coached, or whatever. I've spent about 10 or 15 years with Detroit PAL, okay? Track, and it's an organization called Max X, where I train defensive backs. A lot of kids in the NFL right now, I can call right now, and they're receptive of my information, because as a child, I put my foot in their ass, but it was out of love. So therefore, they can see me as an OG. They can see me as an elder. They can see me as somebody that they know I feel responsible to this child.
Right.
So with Imani, a lot of people are, just like you said, we need to protect him. We need to put our arms around him. We need to be this for this kid. We need to support this kid. Are you doing that?
Right.
Or are you just saying it? It's a difference.
Right.
Are you doing it? Or are you saying it? And are you able to do that on two different fronts? Number one, are you allowed in this circle to be able to be that elder?
Come on.
Number two, is Imani receptive of that information? Now, I personally know who's been around him in terms of the training, this, that, and the other. So honestly, I would look to those people to say, you are his go-to guy. You are supposed to be telling him what's right and what's wrong. You are supposed to be giving him positive and negative feedback. You are supposed to be giving him constructive criticism, because he ain't gonna take it from me.
Right.
I'm just the cat that know who he is. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so these kids have to be, like, for example, check this out. Do you feel as if you're responsible in a sense for Imani?
Oh, yes, I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you feel like Imani is accessible to you?
No, he's not.
Do you feel like you are responsible for Kamal Haddon?
Yes, I do.
Do you feel like Kamal Haddon is accessible to you?
Yes, he is.
It's a world of difference.
Right. Okay.
And that's the important part, because as I told somebody before, if we're serious about our babies, if we're serious about taking care of these kids, if we're serious about being a part of their lives and helping them in these times, you know what I'm saying? If you're literally not doing anything, if you're literally not in the schools, if you're literally not creating these relationships, you sound like a Republican that offers thoughts and prayers when the school gets shot up with an AR-15, because that's all you're doing is giving thoughts and prayers.
Yep, talking loud and saying nothing, loud and saying nothing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so we can get further into it,
right? But
that's my initial response to the Imani situation. Now, of course, we gotta keep everything in perspective in the show, and
exactly,
you know, keep everything where it is.
But I see you out there, home team. I see you out there, Rosh.
But that's my initial response to the Imani situation. So regardless if you feel he's right, he's wrong, what's his father's level of responsibility, what's his level of responsibility, the fact of the matter is, where are you at in the situation? Right. You see what I'm saying? And so even if it's not, and again, this conversation is about Imani, but it's not about Imani. Right, because there's a million Imanis out there. It's a million Imanis out there. Yep. So any other youth that you see, what relationships are you building or have you built to where you can be that OG that you spoke about? Come on now. So thank you for that perspective, for breaking it down. Like I said, ear to the ground 197 for those you tuning in. My name is Bryan Foley. I'm your host. This show is not to dissect Imani Bates as an individual, but if we will say those who fit that outline and that pattern of. South side of Ypsilanti is a ghost town of real ghosts who walk the street who are Imani Bates. I'm 62 years old. There's a whole bunch of brothers and women who are mere ghosts of themselves. That's why I'm saying ghost town, walking ghosts. Actually a realm of hungry ghosts walking around, who were once maybe in the national spotlight, but they're more certainly in the local spotlight and statewide and known throughout the conferences, Eastern Michigan, the MAC, the Big Ten, right? Who were Imani Bates at one time in their life, but they got caught up in situations and circumstances, and nobody was there to surround them and to protect them and to guide them through. They were just mere products of a system that only seen them as one thing, for their monetary value that they can bring either to the school or bring to the family. But nobody really took the time out to talk to these young men. And I see them walking around mere ghostly images of themselves. And sometimes I sit in the barbershop, man, and we talk about, man, you remember when so-and-so back in the day? I know you in the barbershop because you in the barber. And we had these back in the day conversations, how bad we was back in the day, how many points we scored back in the day. This person went here, went there, then the conversation evolves as to what happened to the person. There used to be a joke that Jackson Prison had the best track team there was, because the majority, what's happening, home team, because they had the fastest, because the majority of the people on the track team for Ypsilanti High School were caught up in Jackson Prison. And that's a true story. You get what I'm saying? But you said something that, do you have access to those youth? See, and that's why when you ask me the question, do I responsible for that? Yes, I do. Because the village, as the title of the show says, if a child is not embraced by the village, it will burn it down to feel its warmth, okay? And so we're born, and we was having a talk earlier today about systemic racism and the structure of it and how it works and what have you. But as elders, we have to create our own system and our own institution within the institution because of our unique history that we come through,
so that we making sure that we are providing the best help for our young men and women so they don't get caught up. We depend too much on other people to teach, train, guide, and lead not only our institutions and schools, but to head up our homes too. Where are our core values at? What happened to the values of a nuclear family, mother, father, sister, brother, male, female, okay? We need all those dynamics in there. What happened to the aunt and the uncle, the grandmother and grandparents that encapsulated and made up that family nuclear structure that when mom and dad went to work or mom and dad weren't available, aunt, uncle, cousin, grandma, grandpa was there around there? What happened to that destruction of that family? And if we don't understand how we strayed so far from being a unit, and this is what we're talking about, these young men and women, is much more bigger than just mom and dad or single mom or single dad raising a child. It requires a holistic approach for the entire community. That goes from education, from our spirituality, teaching economics, teaching social responsibility, interaction. It requires an entire community to do that. And so when you say, how come I feel responsible for the situations that a person like Imani Bates is in, and we look at all this violence that's taking place in our community, is because many of us gave up our headship and our kingship for the love of the streets ourselves. We got caught up in the glamour, the glitz, and the bright lights of the streets and got caught up in the bling and left our own families chasing an illusion. And in the meantime, we left these children behind to fend for themselves. And so we perpetuated that image, a false imagery of success and illusion about who had the best car, who had the coldest car, sometimes even who had the best looking girlfriend, who had the most girls, who had the most jewels and stuff like that. And we left a lot of that stuff behind, and we left our children behind. Imani Bates doesn't just belong to his mom and daddy. Thank you, Rosh. Rosh said right here, it takes a village. Imani Bates, the type of, he belongs to the community. And it's the community's responsibility for the well-being of all its inhabitants, including the children, including the parents, including the institutions, the churches, and everything, the businesses that are in there. How can we talk about our community where we have outsiders come into our community, build up an infrastructure within our community, take all the resources without, but we talk about those folks, but when you look at their community and you look at ours, how did they get in there? How did they build up, right? Because we don't protect our own like we used to. So I'm gonna ask you, bro, I'm just, freestyling a little conversation. We sitting up in the barbershop there and there. How do we restore the village?
Actually, it's not, in my opinion, and whatever. But if you do small stuff, like for example, it doesn't. If you go to certain areas and you see a small Korean grocery store, right, or you see a small Hispanic grocery store, right? These places aren't big, but they have fresh meat, they have fresh fruits and vegetables. They'll have, pretty much what the people need, even if it's not their community. They'll have a small grocery store, what have you, that's right there. Then if you look up, you'll be like, wow, there's a Korean grocery store right there, and there's another Korean grocery store right there, and there's a Korean nail shop down the street. And you're like, dang, how are they doing this right in our community? Hispanic, what have you. Then what you have to do is go inside Chase, go inside Wells Fargo, Go inside Bank of America and look who's working in there. See who's giving out the business loans. See who's being able to spread money out. You see what I'm saying? And so it's not as if what happened in Dearborn has to happen everywhere. We know the Arab community, they just went, they just went ham.
I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. What I'm saying is, even if we don't have the majority of people in Ypsi or Ann Arbor or Belleville, what have you, these people are still, these other ethnic groups are still putting people strategically. Again, we have to stop responding emotionally and respond scientifically. These people are putting people in places for the advancement of their people. If an Asian wants a business loan, I'm most likely gonna go to the bank and deal with an Asian agent that can get that loan done. Right. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what they do. So you wonder how are these small stores? So that's what we have to do. We've had the charter schools. We're popping them all.
No disrespect towards any ethnicity whatsoever when I'm speaking, right? But because I have a quote unquote, as that I was saying, I got many friends, and I do, of various ethnicities. Right here in the city of Ypsilanti Township, what I see popping up more than anything else, there's Mexican restaurants and grocery stores that are popping up like crazy. Where the old Abe's is right now, that's now a Mexican restaurant. 2 doors down from there is a Mexican grocery store. Down the street, right across the street from Abe's, not Abe's, excuse me, Lucas, there's another Mexican grocery store. You drive down Michigan Avenue, there's another Mexican restaurant. You go down Washington, Mexican. So that's exactly what you're talking about. Their village are coalesced together and form a family unit to better their community and their demographic. But they're doing it on the demise of ours and the confusion and the chaos in ours.
What also happened in the miseducation of the Negro, what also tends to happen is within our communities, if I open up a restaurant and my restaurant is successful, then oftentimes that other Black man, what do you think he'll open up? Right next to me.
Right next to
a restaurant. See what I'm saying? So we sometimes do stuff to that detriment, and we don't think like it's like, we'll sometimes I'm going to school to be an engineer, or I'm going to school to be a teacher, and I'm shining shoes as I'm working myself through school. But you never thought about all of the money that you were making shining shoes, going to school, and how really you should be studying leather, how you should be studying manufacturing the shoe. So oftentimes we push ourselves and our kids in a direction where they shouldn't go. So it's like, I had to learn this concept of you have to master what you master. You know what I mean? So whatever it is, so don't think on any scale, I'm not there. It's like, no, what do you master? What are you good at? What do you do? And so when we start to do stuff like that and understand the real argument with Booker T and W.E.B., when Booker T was like, listen, this is what we do. Right. We're carpenters. We're handymen. We have, this is what we do. Why not master that? Exactly. But at the same time, okay, well, we need to be a part of humanities and get that education so the talented 10th can teach those who not educated. So it's like you have to master what you can master. But I think far too often, like I read somewhere that said that Jay-Z is the epitome of what a white man wants our youth to see. Jay-Z. Okay, you sit back, you'll be like, okay, break that down. Jay-Z, billionaire, of course. That's what it is on the other. No, because if you say Jay-Z, how you start, I sold crack. Yep. I destroyed my community.
He raped a woman.
You see what I'm saying? I'm
straight him down. Foxy Brown. So let's put that out there.
Why does our community, our kids feel as if we have to have this badge? Do you know how many rappers right now doing stupid stuff to get a rap? So why do we feel as if, or our children feel as if this is what they have to do to be successful? Let me be detrimental to my community so I can be successful, so I can have that story going forth. So I just think that, man, I just still think that we're extremely unfocused. I think that our attention span is that long. And just the pride in, first of all, let me backtrack. Fear.
Right.
Fear's been kicking our butt for a long time. And I think that our continued might piss some folks off. Our continued wait for that white savior complex.
Yes.
That's what gets us.
Still waiting.
Still waiting. And I mean that literally and figuratively, because we're still waiting on that white savior complex to come down, change things, makes things better. And at the same time, what we've done is we have given ourselves to a political party. When you give yourself to a political party, that fence right there, they can sit you down at that fence and tell you to wait, because they know you ain't gonna jump the fence.
You know you ain't gonna jump the fence.
So they sit us down at this fence and make us wait. You see what I'm saying? And that has been keeping us right in that corner all the time. And we find ourselves upset with folks that want to make different moves. So I think that, man, I just think that, man, we again, you know how I am.
We go
grassroots, boots to the ground. I believe that we should be self-sufficient. And I truly believe that whoever is going to move in that direction, move. Stop trying to bring everybody along, because everybody ain't gonna come along.
No, they
you
ain't.
have to be the example of what you want to see.
Yeah. My organization is like, funny you talking about that white savior syndrome. You get what I mean? People don't understand why I tell them, quit bringing them social workers and quit bringing them white folks as saviors into my community. And I'm viewed as being racist and standoffish. Your history shown that you are a detriment to our community, period. And we was reading earlier, I was showing you about that DSM-5. You get what I mean? Where it's Michael's association, where it's deeply rooted in racism, is straight up and down, So I tell them, quit bringing them around, because they looking for a white savior, and then they act as white saviors. And then when they get to where they are at politically or economically, they leave behind, and particularly in the social work world. You said something to me, and I hope I don't lose track of thought. You said something to me a long time ago that when people graduate from college, they tend to stay within a 5 or 15-mile radius of where they graduated from.
Place where they graduate.
Where they graduate from. Eastern Michigan is known as being an excellent school of social work. So the most people who graduate from the school of social work tend to stay right here. And what better fishing grounds that there is in the communities that have been economically deprived systemically because of racism. South side of Ypsilanti, West Willow, the Green, Sugarbrook, Apple Ridge. You can test your craft out.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean? You got a hands-on model. You done graduated and you got your degree and what have you. Now you get your money. Now all you got to do is get 50 people or more, and then you can get a grant, a $50,000, $100,000 grant. We formed an organization, Supreme Felons Incorporated, and we were recently rewarded a $1.2 million grant. Okay, $1.2 million grant based upon the work that we've been doing in the community. Okay, but dig this here: the monies that we have to function as Supreme Felons Incorporated all comes out of our pocket, even to this day. We fund it by ourselves. People say, well, you got $1.2 million. Well, go check our bank account. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it to you straight up and down. Go check our bank account. We still pay for it out of our pockets. Okay, everything we do. Check ain't hit the bank yet. But because we have a love and responsibility as our communities, we started to work before we got grant. Grant just happened to come up and wow, and they called us up and said, we fit the criteria of this grant. We applied for it and we were awarded it, but we ain't got it. But because we haven't been awarded yet, do you think the work stopped?
You can't stop.
We still out there doing it. Yeah. And those of y'all who might be in the community, y'all know it's kind of quiet out there. And that's a direct cause of effect of the foot soldiers that we have out there. See, we have a pride of our community, and those of us OGs who was kind of instrumental in creating some of this chaos. And we see the residual effect of it. That's why we're best able to serve and get back in here. But dig this here. Those businesses that set up camp in our community, a lot of them deal in cash only businesses, right? A lot of them deal only in cash. and they set up right in there. But how come our mindset? You hear the stories of these mashed up brothers who done went in and kicked in somebody's door. You hear it all the time. They kicked in his door. They ran up in this spot. They ran up in that spot. How come they don't run in up at the beer cooler? How come they don't run in up in the gas station?
Well, for the same reason
we pray on our own, but y'all won't run up in the gas station. You know them folks that sold gas all doggone day. Y'all got them things. Y'all got army guns out there. Trust me on that. It's some stuff out there on the street, man. I'll be scratching my head. You get what I mean?
I mean, it's all institutional.
So it's institutional. But you run up in a brother who looks just like you, run up in his spot, and even kill him. But the people that are set up in your community who are interlopers come into your community, you won't say nothing to them if they disrespect your mama in the gas station. Won't say a word. Half the time you don't ask for your change back. You want your change, man? No, keep it, man. Okay, boss. You know, I don't let them call me boss. That shit don't work to me when I come in there. My name is Bryan, or you can call me Mr. Foley, or you call me Bryan Foley, but you ain't calling me boss. You want your change, homie? No, y'all don't even ask for a receipt, man. Pennies make dollars. Penny turn, they take them dollars and take them home to their community, them little pennies that you left up in there, right? You need your dime back? No, man, trying to be pleasing to them. You understand what I'm saying? Acceptance in their eye. You know what I mean? And what have you, because you think you don't need that little 5 cent and nickel because you don't want to piss the merchant off by asking for your nickel and your dime back, them little pennies and stuff like that, man. But at the same time, man, you will sit up here, man, as a dope boy, and you will go and shoot up somebody's house because he owe you $5. Because he was short on the bag, and you will ski mask up, right? And go shoot up that spot because he didn't give you $5 on the sack that he owe you, and then y'all talk greasy. But that same man behind that glass window who talk greasy to you all the time, sitting up there looking at the cameras on you as you go up and down the aisles. And he got a glass up in there. He don't even trust you to even come in the store, period. That's what he think about you from the giddy up. A lot of these gas stations that was opened up, man, initially they used to have bathrooms in them. They locked the doors on you. It ain't got nothing to do because cats is shooting dope up in there because they was closed before they was down there. Okay, I see you, Ross. What's going on? The bathroom was closed before they started shooting dope and doing stuff. No, because they don't want your behind sitting your behind on their bathroom because that's what they think about you. And that's why you can't go into their restaurants, into their establishments and use their bathroom because they don't want you in their bathrooms, using their bathrooms. But you'll take your monkey ass up there every doggone day. Let me get a swish of sweet. See what I'm saying? Let me do this. Landy out there saying, where's lie at? Right. We're talking about our young men in our community, we being elders, and how come we have to embrace our community. Now Landy commenting, and look who calling me on the doggone phone. Landy, call your sister up and tell her that me and her brother is on TV right now. I'll call you later. And why she ain't on the show anyway, watching anyway. So we got to stand up, brother. Right now. Quick, fast, in a hurry. You said something earlier, and I'm going to go back into it. The building trades, carpenters, electricians, millwrights, laborers, AC guys, heat and HVAC guys. Those guys is looked down on as squares, and working on your hand with your hands has become to look like menial labor. You a slave.
It's not attractive.
It's not. Well, how did it get unattractive, brothers? Dig this here. When we came out of slavery, right out of Reconstruction, Jim Crow era. Man, we had our own communities.
You have to remember the book is called The Miseducation, not the
Education.
It's
Right.
the miseducation.
Okay.
So a lot of times when we think that we're being educated,
Mhm.
if you're not receiving an education, but yet taking it back to your community and doing the things that needs to be done to, for that community to have, then and again, you always have to remember too, is that, and I tell you this often, integration is one of the worst things that ever happened to us.
Yes, sir.
Because when we had people that we know we can go to.
I see you out there, Ronnie.
For certain jobs, it was there. So it was attractive. But now it's like we live in a day and age of social media. So you're talking about, you don't see popular guys, you don't see popular people. You mentioned earlier the cars, the girls, and all this stuff.
The jewelries, yeah.
You don't see people who are carpenters and millwrights and people that work with their hands. You don't see them in a glamorous light, and that's not what the kids see. And the kids nowadays, you literally have people that's instantly famous off of a TikTok video. So yeah, it's not. The problem is that if we became, even if I'm not talking about the whole African diaspora, I'm just talking about if we, in a small community, a small area, if we treated each other as if we were important, then the kids would see that we're important. The kids would see that the electrician is important. The kids would see what this person means to the community. That's a part of the problem, and what this whole conversation is about. What do I mean to the community? So even if we circle this whole thing back around to kids like Imani Basin and Kamal Hatton and Corey Allen and all these kids, it's all circles back to what do I mean in the community? Because even if a lot of, take the elementary school, right? We all know who the custodian was.
Always.
Because we knew who he was.
Mr. Mark.
And he was respected in a certain way because we knew what his job was. Hell, some kids probably said, I want to be
Mr. Holyfield. I remember him right now.
You see what I'm saying? Right. And so, but inside your community, when you know who you are, when you know what I'm saying, your importance to this community, and everybody knows the importance of this person to the community, that's where it changes. And that's where it's gone awry to me. We have no identity within our community of what we should be doing or shouldn't. And then we wonder why these kids have no guidance and don't feel the love, so to speak. It's because they're trying to find out who they are. What direction should I go in? Because we sit here in Ipsy and you will look and feel as if all these jobs are menial, because you're not seeing anybody open up a brand new building or what, just the construction that's going on.
Right.
Ain't no black faces with construction.
And let me hit you with that, brother. Just recently, I met with, matter of fact, not just recently, this week, Tuesday, I took County Administrator Greg Deal, Director of Park Ridge Community Center, Anthony Williamson. Okay, I forget what Anthony's official title is now, but I took them up there to the IBEW hall Tuesday morning, and every trades business agent and organizer was present. Okay. And what we have done is we've entered into a verbal agreement to get our young men and women into a trades program by first creating what we call the Supreme Builders Preparatory Academy at this level, okay? Teaching our young men very simply what's a screwdriver, hammer, saw, what have you. And it's gonna be funded. It's in the process of being built right now, okay? So these are the actions that some of us are taking right now to make those trades more attractive. Because you just said around here, there's construction around here right now. Now I'm a licensed electrician, licensed electrical contractor. I own my own business. If and my dad gets mad at me about this, because I could turn this show off right now, leave Supreme Felons Incorporated, all those certificates that you see right behind you, and tomorrow morning, go literally sign my name. And by the end of the year, I probably would have made $100,000. I ain't just showing out. I'm telling you the reality of what it is. But I got love for my people first, because I got to clean up what I messed up in this community, either by my own destruction or my own absentness from being not present in the community. And that's what we're talking about elders right now. But dig this here. All this construction that's going on around here, the trades unions, and this is how I got hooked up with them, they're looking for bodies. We not worried right now about your skill level and your skill set, right? Even if you can pass a drug test right at this moment. But we can ready to put you on, and then we need some bodies from this community to man these jobs.
Does that help us?
Yes, it does help us.
I don't think it helps us.
Go on, why?
Because your labor. I'm talking ownership.
There you go. But in order to get to the level of ownership,
you got to step up and do
you got to step up and do it, but also you have to get from the skills from the ground up to understand some things.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're training them first how to be. If you can't run a business if you don't understand how the business runs.
Yeah. There are Black construction companies.
Okay, right.
I have a friend that has one.
Yeah, I have one too.
Yeah,
right.
you see what I'm saying? So the
right.
thing is, your guy and my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Did they get an opportunity to bid on the job? Do they get an opportunity to get that job? You see what I'm saying? That's
yes. Now let me say this: federal contracts require that a certain percentage of all those jobs be manned by Black folks.
Manned or owned?
Own the contract.
Own the
contract and manned. Mm-hmm. They're in there. Mm-hmm. City of Ann Arbor has a I forget what it's called, but all contracts and all work done as the City of Ann Arbor has to be reflective of the demographic of the community. Used to be, because you know why we didn't you get what I'm saying? It said it had to be reflective of that. Mm-hmm. That was in the city charter. Mm-hmm. Now here in the city of Ypsilanti, we created a community benefits ordinance, a community benefits agreement, but we got to make it work. But dig this here, you was talking about it don't benefit us. It does when we have ownership, right? But see, here's the deal. People don't understand that you just don't wake up in the morning to be an electrician tomorrow morning just because you own a pair of pliers and a screwdriver, just as much as you don't wake up to say you're going to be a brain surgeon because you ordered needle and thread and you got some scissors and tweezers. Mm-hmm. There's a high level of skill that goes on involved with being an electrician, a plumber, HVAC guy, and a carpenter. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, it was some brothers who gathered together, man, a few years back because they recognized that it wasn't any Blacks on the jobs when they were building the housing, building the new housing, public housing, in particular, Hamilton Crossing, right? Mm-hmm. And they protested, they marched and stuff like that. So they finally, the owners had to sit down with them and the government sit down with them. And I wasn't at this particular meeting, but this is what they told them, told these brothers. Y'all not even qualified to throw shingles into the dumpster. That's bad. That's bad. Now, they took it as an insult. I knew exactly what they was talking about. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because shingles are made of asbestos. Mm-hmm. That commercial that you see come on every night that says, if you're a victim of mesothelioma, right? That's real. I know a whole bunch of brothers who have passed away. Brothers, when I'm talking about brothers, I'm talking about in the trade, who have passed away from mesothelioma, from their cancer, from the mishandling of asbestos. Mm-hmm. Asbestos ain't played away. All these buildings and the buildings that were built like in 40s, 50s, and 60s contain asbestos. And if you don't know how to, what's the term we call, and we have a remediate that, you get these asbestos particles in the air. And then when you inhale them, you got that. Yeah. So you have to be trained to know how to throw very simple shingles into a dumpster. You just don't get up there and get to scraping them off, because now you throw those particles in the air and everybody breathes them in. Mm-hmm. So there's a skill set that's involved with even pushing the broom in an asbestos contaminated environment, because you create dust. That's why you see these people, sometimes they had a water hose, spray in the water hole. You think they just water the grass. They ain't watering the grass. They're keeping the dust down so that it doesn't become airborne pollutants. See, there's a skill set that comes involved with these things that we don't know anything about. And let me show you this. How come we don't know about these things that I'm telling you about right now, Griff? Let me hit you.
This thing, let me just say this real quick.
Okay, all right.
What I'm saying is the skills you're talking about, mm-hmm. the basic understanding that you're talking about, mm-hmm. the fundamentals of the job.
Okay.
As this work is going, the construction is going, the building of these houses. What I'm saying is that the Black companies need to have these contracts.
How come we don't know about them? How come we don't have them?
That's another whole state. We also talk about our contacts.
Our contact. Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. So here go the context right there.
Yeah,
so you got Black folks in elected position and high levels. Then how come they didn't come down here, man, and tell us what's going on and get us prepared and let us know?
That's because it may sound simple. It may sound simple. That's because we're not holding them accountable.
There you go, brother.
And it's that simple. If you have the phone numbers of your state rep, your county commissioners, those folks, and it's like, listen, because this is the thing, every time I drive by, and I drive down Michigan Ave, let's say I'm going past First Ave, Second Ave, or whatever, and I see these buildings being worked on. The first thing that comes to my mind is, they didn't think about that yesterday.
No, they did.
That's
my, come on, bro.
It's been in the works.
Right.
So the thing is, if see, all these folks on those cards right there, that information card, that empowerment card, they're at the Juneteenth rally. They trying to get our votes.
Yeah.
They're at the Jazz Festival. They're trying to get our votes. But see, the problem is when they walk up to you and they're soliciting your vote. And most of the time, because they have a D next to their name, you just sign whatever automatically without asking any questions. And what you should be asking is, you know what? I noticed in this community, it's these businesses going up. But no Black people have these businesses. Why is that?
Why is that?
And as a matter of fact, and why I'm signing this, and I see that this is a petition for Black people to not, have issues voting within Washington County. No, I don't want to see that. Tell me what's 1A, what's 1B. What are the concessions in this bill that you want me to sign? So if we're not holding these local people accountable, then that's why it doesn't happen. We don't get the information, period. We don't get the information. Nothing is being built without them knowing about it. Nothing is being done without them knowing what's coming to town.
They already know.
So we don't even get the bugle call or warning signal to say, hey, this is what's about to take place. We just spoke earlier about all these Hispanic restaurants popping up in Ipsy. You mean to tell me they're not saying, hey, this is what these folks are doing to be able to get these businesses going?
Yep.
So who are you voting for? Are you voting for somebody because they really want to help our community be who they say and who we say we want to be? Or are you voting for them and they have something else on their agenda? That's why I tell folks, be an informed voter. I can give a damn about Bush, Biden, Trump, Obama, the other Bush, Reagan. No, locally, be an informed voter, because this is where it affects us. This is right here where it affects us. We literally can still drive around Ipsy. Simple. We can literally still drive around Ipsy and be like, I can't find nothing to eat.
Come on. Let me tell you this. You see, we downtown Ypsilanti. We downtown Ypsilanti. I can't find nothing to eat. I done ate at every restaurant. I'm just telling you the truth. I done ate in every. I'm tired of eating the same old food for lunch. Because it can't, like you said, drive around. And not only can you not find some place to eat, man, I still want to know straight up and down what happened to the Walmart up there on Ellsworth. That bothers me. We don't have a grocery. You're talking about a desert. Check this out. You're talking about a food desert. Ypsilanti consists of a food desert. But check this out. How come the Mexicans got a grocery store on this end of the east, on West Michigan Avenue, and they got a grocery store on the east end, on this less than a half mile away from each other? And I ain't mad at them. So if anybody out there, I'm applauding you.
This is my thing.
Yep.
Walmart's. When I go to certain places, Philly, Brooklyn, or whatever, you're not going to find that. That's going to be way out there.
Right.
Because what they won't do is allow a business like that to get rid of the mom and pop stores. Then once they leave off of Ellsworth, now you're talking about an eyesore in the community. So what has to happen is, when we have brothers that has, you got Opio and Travis with the t-shirts, you got Biggie's Restaurant, you got Cuppies, you have, so when we talk about these small Black businesses, we need to support them whether Walmart's here or not. See, when we don't do that, and our businesses here get in the red, you see what I'm saying? Then Walmart leaves. We're not supporting the local Black businesses that we need to stay afloat. And that's a part of us just not being you know what, B, let me say this. I really think sometimes when we have the conversation of community or Black community, I really think people think that means that 100% of my neighbors are Black.
No, we're talking about common. We're talking about community. You're talking about what is our common unity?
You see what I'm saying?
What's our common unity?
I really think that that's how some of us think that we have to move, as if we're only a community, as if everybody around me, every business around me, every entity around me is Black. That's not what it is. It's not what it is.
Right. So, you know, I went to Wendy's the other day, man. You know, I ordered me a hamburger, fries, and a drink, man. You know, that cost $15. But dig this here. I drove by Biggie's. Okay. I drove by Biggie's to go get it. I could have got me a Biggie burger and fries and got me some of that fruit punch that Biggie got up in there. You get what I'm saying? And Landy said, I got rib tips for you. Oh, yeah. You know, Landy know I like the big tips. Okay. So I got the hookup. Okay. But I drive right on by Biggie's. Yeah. Okay. Because I fell for the clown. Ronald McDonald. Yeah. I fell for Popeyes with the system in. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Biggie, get it. Landy, get a song out there. You know what I mean? Maybe something like that. You know, McDonald's is my kind of place. You know what I mean? Then I fell for the girl with the red ponytails with the freckles up there to go get me one of them Dave Deluxe. You know what I mean? Drive right on by. Yeah. You said something early, brother, and you said it straight up and down, man. Integration killed us. Yeah. I'm old enough to remember when Harriet Street was a thriving business district. I'm old enough to remember when Ann and 4th Street in Ann Arbor was Black businesses. I'm old enough to remember not just Mr. Rhea, but also DeLongs. You get what I'm saying? I remember all that, man. But we got caught up, as I said earlier, I got caught up in the flash and the lights. Man, what make me want to leave my neighborhood, man, to go get me a doggone hamburger when Swanson's hamburger was literally right behind my house. Blue Haven was right behind my house. Yeah. But that commercial on TV, man, with that clown on there, you get what I mean? You know, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onion on a sesame seed bun. Yeah. You get what I mean? Mama, I got to have one of them. Got to have one of them. When Mama had it in the house, she had hamburger on 2 slices of white bread, custard, mustard, and she seasoned the way I want it. But I had to go over there. There's a show on, man. It's called White Water. White Water. Google it. It's called White Water. I watched it a couple years ago. And White Water is about the segregated drinking fountains. So you said the water said for white folks and it said for Black folks. And the white folks had to drink out of that one, right? And you had the color folks had to drink out of this one. Well, this little boy, man, it was a comical. It wasn't, you know how they got them good stories, but they're not what am I trying to say? They're not funny shows, but the shit is in there is funny. Yeah. This boy was doing his best, man. He just had to have him some white water. Yeah. And yeah, you might have seen it, but he had to have him some white water, right? Because the Negro water over here for the colors, and they had the white fountains. Man, he did everything in the world to go get him some of that white water. Okay, right. When he finally snuck away and got some of that white water, you know what he said? This white water tastes just like the colored water. See, what the deal is that, man, the same set of pipes branched off to a T that went to the colored folks drinking fountain, went to the white folks drinking fountain. It was the same water, psychological. It was the same water. And he said, man, this water tastes just like the Negro water. Yeah. See, and what we had to do is we so much wanted to integrate that we was leaving that behind, because the white folks, they had that fancy white, they had that white fountain, you know what I mean, that ceramic one. And we just had a spigot that came out of there. And what we should have been doing, man, is just going up there, polishing up that knob and cleaning it up and cleaning up the trash around it, instead of going to get into the white water. And that's what we do, man. We would rather go drive past Biggie's, drive past Cuppies, and then, man, ain't nobody ever argue. I ain't heard nobody say one time that McDonald's and Wendy's, they too high. Yeah. but all pull up in the biggies and cuppies, man. And she got that good catfish up in there and all that kind of stuff. What's the first thing we say? It's too high. We have lower expectations for our own people that we expect them to give us a deal because we hold ourselves to a lower standard. Automatic.
But I think that we were taught that too, though.
Of course.
You know?
Bro. Right here.
About the
right. Okay, right.
I'm talking about some of the messages from some of our leaders from the 60s, because like Malcolm had to come back and tell them brothers, integration does not mean dignity.
Right.
Integration does not mean dignity. Like it shouldn't, it's no more dignity to walk through the back door of their restaurant than through the front door of one of ours.
Right.
Why would you want to walk through the back door of somebody else's restaurant?
Yep.
And then we see programs that came out like the 60s and 70s. It's called How to Sell to the Negro.
Yeah,
like
it's a whole documentary.
And we fell for it hook, line, and sinker. You know, so I mean, there's things that we're responsible.
Yeah, man, I know. I'm guilty of it, man, because I won't even go buy a pair of jeans from Walmart. I won't even buy a pair of Levi's Dockers, and I'm 62 years old. But I go out there to Briarwood, man, to that forget the name of that store. I want to say it's Journeys. I don't know the name. I can't remember of it.
Just don't say merry-go-round.
Yeah, merry-go-round. I would, but I had to go to merry-go-round. But I had to go out to the store, man. I can't remember the name of it. But I got about 8 pair of them $160 Rock Revival jeans. I'm just tell you the truth, man. And you know what I'm saying? But I won't go out there to Walmart and buy me some of them Hager slacks, some of them Levi Dockers, which do the same thing, and they keep my ass warm. You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But when we talking about Griff, what we started talking about, and we're not singling the brother out. We was talking about Imani Bates and the template of him, if you will. And we didn't get away from the subject. What we're talking about is the community and the elders embracing our youth. We have to be the example of what our children need to see instead of being what they want to see, and be perpetuating that myth of glitz and glamours. Dope boys and the rappers, straight up and down, and the actors, you know, they still hold the attention because of the bling. You know, brother got to have $100,000 necklace, and they even had it appraised, and he done spent $100,000 for it to come find out it's only worth $10,000 because he got to have the illusion of success. See, the illusion of success is much more alluring than actual success itself. Yeah. I was just talking about those jeans and them Hager slacks. You go look at some of our cats, man, who's successful around in this community, right? They won't be caught dead in them $160 slacks that I'm talking about right now. They won't be caught dead in them Gators, them Crocs, and them snake skins, and them diamond rings that I got home, right? But they much, much more, Tracy say, vanity. You're right, I am, you get what I'm saying? And I'm still caught up in that, right? But you take a look at some of the successful brothers in our community and responsible, right? But how do we make that imagery more appealing to our young men?
I don't even think that that's what it is.
Well,
because what it is these young men are hurting.
Okay, so let's get to that.
So it's not even the appealing to the youth, you know, in terms of that it's how do we stop our youth? If Supreme Felons has the streets quiet,
got them quiet
because the babies were yelling. That's why. So if we're talking about our youth and the elephant in the room, Imani Bates, so to speak, right. he's I don't know. I'm a psychiatrist, but he may be hurting.
The posture in we call it a perp, remember they used to call it a perp stroll. The posture in the arraignment, right? Because I delve in that, and so do you, on a daily basis. Yeah. The brother was hurting, man. Yeah. I recognized it right off when he was sitting in the chair. His posture told it all. I seen the pain.
It's public knowledge. And again, our conversation is going to remain respectful,
right?
And we're only going to use what's in the public. But it's public knowledge that after I believe the Ole Miss basketball game, this young man's first year at Memphis, Penny Hardaway, his coach, said that this kid told him he was thinking about stop playing basketball. Now, again, like I said before, I know the grind. For a kid like that to be that talented, there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. That's a lot to carry at 15, 16, 17 years old. But for a kid like that to even express that, number one, we better be happy that that kid expressed that.
Thank you. Right.
That he's thinking about quitting playing basketball when you literally have the world in your palm, but you want to give this up. That boy did not tell Penny Hardaway, I'm gonna stop playing basketball for nothing. So this is obviously there's a family thing between his parents and their circle, but to me, that's a cry for help.
Yes.
Then when you put that along with some of the actions that he's had, that's public knowledge, those are continuous cries for help, which I think ties in with our title that in order for a child to feel the warmth, he'll burn down a village to fulfill this war. And really what that's saying is, I need y'all to see me. I need y'all right now. I'm hurting. I need my village, whether it's literally in the family or the entire village.
Right.
So I think that that's the important part, not so much trying to engage in the kids in terms of what can we do appealing to them. Now, for some kids that they're eventually going to take a different path or different route, we have to do things constructively to say, hey, you can do this, that, and the other. This is appealing for you to go and have this type of job, career, or what have you. But then we're also talking about a kid that's crying for help.
Yes.
And we need to listen to that.
And you and I, we heard the cries for help a long time ago. Everybody, unfortunately or fortunately, is not access to the information into the rooms that you and I have. And that's a good thing too. And the reason why I say that's a good thing too, because based upon the demonstration that I've seen, if y'all hadn't been privy to this information that me and Griff was early on, y'all would have took him out and been talking about the brother all along.
Yeah. I think it said it's waiting for the live signal.
Okay, I'm getting the same thing too. It went dead. Yeah. So I know it's still recording. I can tell you that. It's still recording and it's still going on. So it'll come back on and it'll catch up.
Okay. Yeah, I've just seen someone said no sound.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went dead for a minute, but it'll okay. Oh, okay. We lost our connections. It's talking about I'm being used. I hope Steve ain't in there. I know it's still being, what I can tell you is it's still being recorded. So through that. So let me do this right here, just in case I have lost it all the way.
Yeah, this show's still buffering. But,
let's see. Let's see, we went past our time. Let me do this. It's actually telling me it's being used by somebody else. No kidding.
Really? Send wait for live video signal.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's keep on telling me it's in use.
That's interesting.
Seriously, look at it. I keep on going back. Somebody hijacked our signal. And I'm trying to get us to rejoin. Let's see, so do this. Okay, let's do that. Well, we're still out there in YouTube, so YouTube still get it. Okay, all right. And it's still telling me it's in use. And I just okay, here we go. All right, ready to connect. Okay. Let's see if we can reconnect. Okay, all right, let's go back in again. Okay, Griff, we're coming back on again. Probably coming on a different feed. Okay. Okay, go back on my page there.
Yeah. I just want your pages too.
Okay.
Fortunately or fortunately, is not access to the information.
Okay. Let me see if we live right now. Yeah, we're on another one that you go back on. Okay. All right. So we live again, Griff, and we like to apologize to y'all who's out there in Facebook land. Normally, our issues are on YouTube, but actually Tracy says we're back. Okay, so we're back. Thank you, Tracy. Like to apologize to everybody. Normally my issues are on let's get this together real quick. Move this over here, put this right here. Okay. All right, we back, Griff. You see anything? We got 5 folks back online and everything like that. So for those of you who was tuned in, I'd like to apologize. Is something or somebody hijacked my camera? As I showed you, it says being used by another user. Maybe we was getting too close to the bone and they had to do something to slow us up, Griff. But for those of you who may not know this, you can go to the Ear to the Ground 197 and you can see this in its entirety without interruption whatsoever. And that's Ear to the Ground 197 on YouTube, and you can see the entire thing. Tracy, do me a favor. I know you out there, sis. Do me a favor. Post the links in the previous video and in this one for my YouTube page, if you will, sister. I appreciate you, and I'll bring you over a ginger juice when I get a chance. yeah, she liked the ginger juice, so I had to bring over the ginger juice from over there at Bon Appetit. Man, you ever go to Bon Appetit?
Have been there yet? I'm not sure.
Right there on the corner of Cross and Ballard. Yeah, Bon Appetit. Okay. All right, I see you back, Roz. We got about 9 folks back in there. Where was we at, bro, Griff?
We were talking about the mic's on.
Mic's on. Yeah, they on. They saying, yep.
Okay.
All of them there. Hey, what's going on, Karen? Good to see you. They back in here. The mics is on, brother. Yes, sir.
Okay. No,
yeah,
I mean, we were circling back around to talking about the title of the show.
Okay.
Which is a child will burn down his village to feel his warmth.
Right.
And we were starting to talk about actually these children are in pain, and one way
recognizing the cry for help.
Recognizing
the cry for help.
Talking about that, and it's funny, because a lot of people, and again, I keep saying this before in the I always say elephant in the room. Imani Bates.
Right. Okay, right.
Although we're not talking about him, we're talking about him and all of our babies. And the thing is, is that I don't think people realize, or then maybe they do, but it's like, do we realize how much these kids hurt and what we should be doing, to get over that? I thought about this seriously. Did you ever see the movie Black Panther?
Yes. My hero was T'Challa.
Now,
Go ahead.
Now, this is the thing. I'm glad you said that.
Right.
Because we're having this conversation about what's going on with Imani. And a lot of people are, again, saying a lot of negative things about this kid.
Right.
A lot of negative things about this kid. Are some of them just? We don't know. We'll figure some of this stuff out. And a lot of people are, like you said, on the attack. Now, there's a lot of people that's showing crazy support. But there's a lot of people that's on attack for this kid. And it's interesting because Killmonger is...
Excuse me. Killmonger was my hero, not T'Challa. Let me back up a little bit. Monger, right.
Killmonger
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Go ahead, bro. I'm going to leave it alone. Go ahead. I'm going to let you... Right.
He is the children of Ypsilanti. He is Imani Bates. He is all these other kids that don't have as much a popular name. And why do I say that? As a child, and I always told people in that movie, T'Challa was wrong. Killmonger was right. The whole basis of Killmonger wanting to burn down
the village
and all that is because as a child, he watched his people leave and abandon him.
Yep.
He grew up and fought in what he said, the white man's war.
Sure did.
He killed other colored people throughout the world for them. Knowing that his people had the resources to take care of him. So he grew up with that anger and resentment. And he said, I'm going back home and I'm going to change the way our people treat the rest of us in the whole African diaspora.
Yes.
So this young man at the beginning of the movie, he looked up and he watched and saw this spaceship leave and leave him abandoned.
Come on, brother.
So what happened is he told T'Challa, you have the capability to take care of our people and our children around the world. I was one of them. Long story short, at the end of the movie, T'Challa realizes that our community is not short on talent. Our community is short of resources. So at the end of the movie, it ended with children looking up, seeing that spaceship leaving, but now they have pride because what did T'Challa do? He put money into the community, and as opposed to them kids feeling abandoned, they felt as if now all of us in this African diaspora, whether we're in Oakland, California, we're in Jamaica, we're in Canada, or wherever this spaceship is going across the Atlantic, we're one now that's taking care of us. So in that movie, that's why I always told people Killmonger was right.
Thank you.
Killmonger, everybody thought he was wrong. Why could you do this to the village? How could you come back and do that and the other? No, Killmonger was hurt. That was his problem. I'm hurt. I'm one of y'all. I'm hurt. So that's kind of how I look at all these kids in the community that's hurting, that's burning down our community with gunfire or what have you.
Thank you.
And it's like, that's how we have to start looking at our kids. Stop looking at them as, boy, what's wrong with you? And understand exactly what's wrong with them and what their cry for help is. Especially when you get a kid on that scale that says, now we're looking back and saying, 15 years old, cover Sports Illustrated.
Right.
16 years old, Gatorade Player of the Year. Turn around and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I may not want to. That's a cry for help.
Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at. And I meant Killmonger. I got caught up on the T'Challa. There's a brother around here you might have known. He moved on. Now his name was Rashid Atwater. And we were supposed to have a debate up at Park Ridge Community Center, and he was going to take on the character of T'Challa, and I was taking on the character of Killmonger, because he knew that T'Challa was 100%, and that was the perspective that you eloquently displayed in front of everybody else. If you don't recognize the cry for help from a young man, if he's shooting up something, fighting, acting out, keep your hands off of him, keep your mouth to yourself. I'm serious about that, because I check people hard in the community. When I see these young men in our community hurting, and I start seeing the elders or the big kids getting on them, the first thing I do, man, is wrap my arms around that young man and bring him to the side, and we start talking. They might not tell me everything that's happening with them right at the moment, but later on, I built a relationship of trust with them as an elder that somebody can come to. Yesterday, I went to the Heritage Park Neighborhood Association. They had a barbecue, and I was sitting on the bench talking to Billy Cole on the phone, just talking to him. And this young man came up to me. I didn't know who he was, but he just sat real close to me, man. He started just talking to me, man. And I had on a diamond watch and I had a diamond ring. That's right, Raj, open that door. And he said, man, you blinded me. That's a shorty, right? He blinded me, man. And he just warmed up to me and started talking and talking. And I'm trying to figure out who he is, right? But what it was a young man that I had built a relationship with in the gym a couple of years ago. And he recognized me as a friendly face, and he played for the Junior Braves, and he's on his way. I asked him, how come you in at football practice? He said, my game started too. Shout out to kid Jay. He led the B team out, the undefeated Braves team on out there, and he played on that team. But the fact is, man, when I first met this young man, that was one of the young men that I had pulled to the side, man, because he was being mistreated and abused at home. Mm-hmm. But he recognized me, man, even though I forgot who he was by name. But he came and sat down to me, and we laughed. He jugged with me and stuff like that, man. And I've been that.
And that's what I was saying. Yeah. That's what I was saying in terms of being an elder, OG in the community. When you build that relationship, and let's say this kid ends up being the next Eric Ball, or, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's like if he finds himself getting in trouble, you're that guy.
Okay, we that guy.
Now, I can't be that guy because I don't know him. And I might be like, yeah, man, I'm Griff, man, I work in the community, I do this, that, and the other. But that kid not going to see me the same way that he sees you. And that's why it's important to stop waiting for these kids to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated to all of a sudden want to be supportive. Because we never know which one of these kids are going to go what route. But if we I don't want to sound too general and say if we embrace all of our kids, you're not going to run. You're not going to. But what I'm saying is the kids that you do deal with, when we establish those relationships, now when you have a situation like Imani, right, those that's in his life that have earned the ear of him and his mother, father, his circle, those are the people that's supposed to be his OGs. That's right. That sit him down and say, listen, young brother, boom, 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 boom. And I told you this before as well. He has a level of responsibility as well. Correct. Let's not sit here and be like, man, listen, y'all leave Imani alone. Imani, he's just about. No, he has because if he doesn't grow and mature, it's a wrap anyway. You know what I mean? Whether he makes $10 million or he makes $10. If he doesn't grow and mature. So he does own the responsibility of some of his misfortunes of the things that he may have done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we have to provide a rich soil. Yeah. We got to provide a rich soil that he can make those amends and be more responsible for his actions. Oh yeah. You get what I'm saying? Now, I agree with you on that one hand, but like I said, me and you both agree. We're not sitting up here letting the brother off the hook completely. Let's be straight up with that. What we're talking about is brothers shooting and killing. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Yeah. We ain't gonna let you do that, man. Yeah. Move out the way. We got this. We can handle this. Yeah. He's already harmed. In the Hippocratic oath, the Hippocratic oath that every doctor takes, it says what? First, do no harm. Yeah. So when you got a wounded patient coming to you, they've taken an oath. The first thing we're not going to do is cause more harm to you. Yeah. That's the Hippocratic oath. You get what I'm saying? Each one. First, it says straight up down. First, do. So you don't hurt nobody that's already hurting. I don't care what they've been into. You get what I'm saying? Because now when we start doing that, man, we start becoming like medical apartheid. You get what I'm saying? And we start performing triage, saying that because this person is Black, he has a higher level of pain. So therefore we can set him to the side, and then we're going to go to this patient over right here. You feel what I'm saying? So we become our own worst enemy at times because
sometimes, man, I mean, you know what? You said something to me the other day, and I'm gonna put this out there. No, it wasn't you. It was Coach Ramsey. Me and Coach Ramsey talked on the phone. We begin to recognize, man, that some of these people who attacking Imani Bates are actually hurting themselves. They're actually hurting in the inside themselves. You see, it's one thing I begin to understand, man. When you don't have the ability to convey your thoughts in words, you act out in actions, just like a child. Children don't have the vocabulary yet to express their feelings and their thoughts in words, and they act out. And what they do is what? They just take something to just knock all the blocks off the table. You get what I mean? Kick stuff, because they haven't yet developed the vocabulary and the thought press to say where they're hurting at. And so it is with a lot of these older brothers, men, elders, because they don't have the ability to address their own hurt. They attack other people. Hurt people, hurt people.
You know, the biggest thing, my thing is, everybody can formulate an opinion. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Now, it may be an asinine opinion, or it may come without merit or information. But my biggest problem in having conversations about Imani, elephant in the room,
Right.
what was, and I told people this, if you have never said anything,
come on, brother.
This is my thing.
Right.
If you've never said anything positive about him,
don't
just come to me with the negative about him, because it goes back to what you're saying. It's like, that's just an attack. I see it. He's hurt. Right. And you know, you go after that wounded animal. And it's like, I have no problem having a balanced conversation, because we can sit here and we can say, Imani did this wrong. He 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 did this wrong. But if we never talk about the good things that kid has done, what conversation are we really having?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like what conversation are we, what narrative are we really trying to push? So, and that's why, beginning of the show, that's why I wanted to preface this show right here. Keep your negative personal attacks to yourself. Let's have a balanced, open, honest conversation about facts that's already out there, and not just, I want to bash this kid. I want to say something bad about this kid. Let's not do that. And that's not going to help anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's say that kid is watching today's show.
Come on,
what is he getting out of it? Does he feel like, man, there's two older cats, man, on YouTube or on Facebook, man, they dogging me out? Or are they talking real and giving real information, and they might hear and feel what I'm saying or what I'm going through, or they have an idea, or everybody out there don't hate me. Right. Everybody out there ain't hating on me. And that's what it's about. So,
you know, I love the old 1940s and 50s and 30s movies, even though all the characters in them are white, or if they do, they come from a white Eurocentric perspective. You get what I mean? But I like them because, let me tell you why. They actually show a mirror of what America really believes, and it shows what their principles are. In particular, if you watch the Westerns. You get what I mean? If you watch them 1940s and 50s Westerns, they will tell you exactly what America is and how it believes to solve their problem. They believe to solve their problem through violence and through harm. But anyway, them 1940s movies, I know we way past the time, brother. We just dialogue. But then we get out of here. When they had those Broadway plays, they had those Broadway plays, you know, with the ladies kicking their legs up and all that old kind of stuff. The first thing they do in the morning, did you read the reviews? You know, and they talk about how the artist performed in the play. Did you read the reviews? Sometimes the manager or whoever the person was, sometimes it was Mammy, the Mammy character, and you know what I'm saying, was up in there. No, darling, I'm not gonna let you read them. You can't pay no attention to what them folks say. The reviews. Did you read the reviews? So when we talk about Imani Bates and the likes of, not just him individually, but did you read the reviews? And because we are such into what they call the metaverse now, the brother has access to social media. Did you read the reviews of what happened to you on the next morning? And if the first thing that he starts seeing is Griff and Foley talking about, I knew this was going to happen. He ain't nothing. He ain't never good. He's reading the reviews. How do you think that plays on a child's psyche?
Yeah.
I'd rather give him the review that I'm here to help, but also I'm letting him know too, and let our youth know this. You come for our youth, you coming for me, and you're going to deal with me and deal with our organization if you coming at our youth. And I don't give a fuck who you is or what you're about. These are our children, and we embrace them. And it's one thing that we got to protect them from: institutional racism, racist white cops, racist store owners, but we shouldn't have to protect them from our own. You come from our own, I'm coming at you, we coming at you. We have to put on a demonstration as the community that there is a hedge and a wall of protection, that if you come after our babies, you can't do that. Ain't no excuse, it ain't happening. You know? So that being said, brother, I really appreciate your time. I apologize to you and to the viewers out there. You seen what it said? It said that somebody hijacked my camera. Maybe we're getting too close and we're going back on. But with that, brother, I'm gonna let you have the final words. And before I do those, though, man, I got to thank Tracy Davies of Tracy Sweet Touch Production. She's my sister. She always out there supporting me and helping me. And not only that, she posted into both links, into both posts, our YouTube link. And fortunately, man, it's been up and running. So if you want to see this broadcast in its entirety, just click on the YouTube link when you get a chance, Ear to the Ground 197. And I got to thank Tracy Sweet Touch Production, Tracy Davis. Karen, thank you, baby. Let's see, Karen, what you cooked today? Got to thank Tracy, Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, owned by my good friend Kip Johnson and Athena Johnson, as well as Carlos Franklin and his lovely queen, Andrea Franklin. And also got to thank Gail Summerhill, Trudy Hughes of League of Women Voters, Gail Summerhill of Ipsy Can I Share, for providing our political information, that's always keeping us out and stuff like that. Karen talking about hops and barley. You know, good and doggone well I don't drink. Talking about some hops and barley. Just want to thank y'all for tuning in. But Griff, I'm gonna let you have the last words out here, and then we're gonna get up on out of here.
Okay, cool. I'll keep it nice and simple.
Okay.
Again, this conversation was about our youth. Us being there for our youth. Our responsibility as OGs, elders, whatever you want to say. But I would just like to say that whatever role that you take, let's make sure that we walk that line of being there, being constructive, still not being enablers though.
Right.
And we can't be afraid to be what we need to be for our children in the community. The worst thing that we can do is be enablers. The worst thing we can do is
co-sign bullshit. Let's just call it what it is.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead. Back
so,
on. Yeah. Right.
So, no, and that's basically what it is. I'm just saying that if we're going to play our part, let's make sure we play our part. We cannot wrap our arms around every child. Okay.
Why can't we, bro? Why can't we?
No.
Go ahead. Okay.
You don't know the kids that I know.
Okay.
I don't know the kids that you know.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
all right,
in whatever realm that I'm in, I'm with Kalista. I'm over in Erickson Elementary. I'm with those guys. Those are my boys.
Right.
So the boys that I come in contact with,
right, okay,
they need to see me as an elder OG. The supreme felons,
right,
the young men that you're in contact with. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said we can't rap.
Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
You,
so
right.
What I'm saying is, whatever space that we're in, be responsible for those kids in your space. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if we all do that, now we're working as a community. And the way it works, if I bring my young fellas that I work with, my crew,
right,
over to yours, now that's how we build community.
Okay.
Because my kids, they know how we get down. You know how your kids. So when they come together, and that's what it's about. That's how you build community. I do my thing over here, you do yours over here, here, just like we spoke about all the Hispanic restaurants that have that community. They're making a community. That's what we have to do on an individual level. So collectively, when I get with you, now we're just greater numbers.
Right.
That's
yeah. Okay, I agree with you. Speaking of Kalista, I have to give Kalista a big shout out and recognize him because what's that? November 5th that we're gonna
That's this Wednesday.
Is this Wednesday? I thought it said November. Anyway, but what she did was she reached out to some responsible brothers in the community and want our presence to be known as up at Erickson School. And so she called out to some brothers such as yourself and a few others.
If we're unsure what day it is, if you're unsure what day it is, I believe it is count day. So whatever day count day
that's
is.
I think that's November. But anyway, it's in the thing. But anyway, shout out to Kalista for recognizing that. And then you know what I'm saying? I got to get Kalista a lot of props. And you know why? And I get in trouble with this. I don't care. Kalista got enough doggone integrity to know that as a woman, she can't fill a man's role. And she will sit up in here and call brothers like us up to the thing, and then she'll step out of the way and let brothers do their thing instead of sitting up in here trying to say that, well, I can be a man and I can do what a man does. And woo, woo, woo. She never tried to do that.
She never tried to intervene. When I'm at the elementary.
Right.
She okay, there's Griff, there's his guys. I'm out. I'm out. So, she does her job. She puts who with who needs to be with who, and she does this, and she trusts you to do your job.
Exactly. So I got to give her a shout out to that. And then I got to shout out, man, my homeboy, he chimed in today. This is one of my oldest friends, man, for a long time. My road dog, Rosh Williams, man. I don't know if you know Rosh, but me and Rosh go way back, man. We go back to the boys club, man. When we was what was we national champions, Rosh, when we beat Muncie, Indiana. We was down, man. We was down by a lot, man. And I seen that, but that was I didn't want to put it out there because it's not for public folks to attend. You get what I mean? So I didn't want to put the date out there. You get what I mean? I just, you know what I mean? The actual date, because some folks may feel as though they can show up just because it's there. No, if you didn't receive the invitation, it's a reason she invited the folks that she invited. So that's why I'm going to put the details out there specifically. But anyway, what's happening, Rosh? I see Rosh here, yes, sir. But me and Rosh played for the Boys Club team back when we because they had an outlet for the brothers who me and Rosh, I ain't putting his business out there, but me and Rosh was hell of a ball players. You get what I mean? But the politics of being on the high school team at that time, we didn't fit their criteria. We were some ballers. You get what I mean? Straight up ballers, man. That was back when Gervin was out there. We was rocking the cradle, finger roll and stuff like that. You wouldn't have a chance if I played in your day, bro. Okay, I'm just letting you know, man. Okay. But me and Raj, right? We had a team with me, him, DP. Yeah, me, him, D. Who was that on team? DP, Melvin, Melvin Ruggie, and you know, I remember some of the players. But anyway, we had won the Boys Club National Championship that year, man. Right here in Ypsilanti, man. Yeah, and I remember the game like it was yesterday, man. We was down by a lot, man. But the coach pulled us in, man. We got it together, man. We shot my Muncie, Indiana lights out that day, man. Yeah, just before they had camera. See your stuff on camera. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go, man. Into the Ground 197, brought to you by Tracy Sweet Touch Production and Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center. Hopefully we'll be back here at our regular time on Saturday, unless I got an event going on, then we'll be back. Griff, I need you back in the studio, man, as often as you possibly can. You know that my calendar is open for you. All you have to do is sign the time and the date in, and you come sit at the chair. And if I got something else going on, we just gonna have to arrange it so that you can come in, because I know you're busy doing what a father should do. I have to tell you, I admire you for your interaction with your son and how you out there support him. And I admire you for that, man, because that is a shortcoming in my area. I'll tell people my life experiences is because I'm not Heathcote Hustable. Far from you get what I'm saying? I'm that, as one of my sons told me, I am the poster child for the absentee father. Oh man, that hurt, man. That hurt. And it still hurt. But life go on, man. But it's through those life experiences that I am best equipped to deal with young men and women who have my life experience. So I understand it for what it is. Do that let me off the hook for trying to be a better father and interacting with my own grown children? No. But I got to do what I got to do. Ear to the Ground 197. Catch y'all next week.
Take my daughter to the airport. That's why I be out there.
Damn, what's this brother talking about? It's the brother on here named Ronald Wilson talking about good to see Jimmy. Interesting topic on district management. F-150, Electronic Lightning. Did you just say that? I don't know. Good to see Jimmy. That ain't Jimmy. Oh, no wonder. I'm looking at an old video. Somebody was commenting on an old video. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, man, that was a different report, B.
What?
Bryan.
It was. That's always been this song, man.
I'm like,
baby. Yeah, Foley, yeah, it's my theme song, man. That's my theme song. You know?
Listen, I drink water.
Yeah.
And PD like, and neither one is alcohol. I know I never heard that before.
It's my theme song, man. I keep telling you, it's my theme song, man.
You snuck that in there.
No.
You absolutely snuck that in
No,
there.
that's been in there, man, from day one. Yeah. Yeah. Let me make sure my shirt pulled down. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, brother.
All right, always a pleasure, man.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Like I said, what I meant, that's open all the time. All you gotta do is call me.
Man.
Okay. All right.
He has he only have one bye, and that's gonna be next week is in Virginia. We're in Virginia.
Right.
Then it's a bye, then it's probably about 6 weeks in a row he's again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got everything.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Doc.
All right, bro.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.